Ladies and gentlemen, Q News Part 3.
Back.
Now, I'm so happy with what we just saw from the PlayStation 5 presentation. I mean, there was fireworks. It was gigantic. We saw numerous gameplay. We saw the form factor, everybody. I mean, woohoo! This is exactly what we needed.
I felt it deep in my jellies.
I definitely felt it in my
that
jellies,
it had on
everybody.
me.
But guys, we have just woken up in Australia time. It only happened, 4 or 5 hours ago. We're going to give you, after the drop, some information, specs which we barely understand, and what we thought of the presentation after the drop.
So, welcome back to Q News, guys. As you know, we are currently in quarantine as shit goes from bad to worse when it relates to the Corona pandemic. Hope everyone's staying safe out there and doing all the right things and listening to health authorities and not going swimming on the Florida beach.
And not going crazy being...
not going to Disneyland.
Yeah, not going to Disneyland, not going crazy being in your house for the whole time like I am going slowly crazy. But guys, we're trying to keep sane here, and the way we do it is we try and keep busy. Okay, so
we playing some COD Warzone until Doom Eternal releases 2 days from now, and covering the biggest news of the day, which is of course the PlayStation 5 spec reveal. Isn't it clear, Sam, that Xbox is dead and finished, and that disgusting trash Xbox console is irrelevant now? Isn't that a fact, Sam?
Well, actually, I completely disagree, because I think power is everything, guys. It's all about how powerful the console really is, and Xbox is clearly winning that. So
absolutely.
But look, let's be real. The specs looked fine. Fine. I'm a normal gamer. Okay, I'm a casual. Do you think I sit there and go, "Oh my god, yes, 10.28 teraflops. That's amazing"?
Well, look, okay.
I mean, a lot of people like them, don't get me wrong. All I'm trying to say is a lot of people, like myself, it's great to see the specs, but they don't really matter to a lot of people. They just want to see it look good. So,
look, I think the most important point in this discussion is that, yes, there are differences in the hardware's power between Xbox and PlayStation, for sure. But are those differences so massive that it's going to radically alter the outcome of this generation? I don't think we've seen anything yet that indicates that, right?
Yeah.
You are certainly going to see two consoles that are both very powerful and play next-gen games. As always, developers are going to be developing for both of those consoles. And I think that's the main takeaway, right? Console fanboy wars going on Twitter right now are so ridiculous because both consoles have their strengths and weaknesses, for sure, and that's already been made clear by the specs. But at the end of the day, they're both going to offer similar-ish performance, and games are going to look similar-ish, and that's the main thing.
I really think that, we've seen with Switch, perfect example. It's not the most
100%.
Powerful thing in the world. It's going completely gangbusters, especially
it's garbage hardware.
It's garbage hardware, right? I think my Samsung Note 10 is probably stronger than that thing, right?
Yeah, probably.
But no one cares about it. It's all about the IP, right? Now, I think that as long as the next console can be powerful enough that developers can do what they creatively want on each console, then we're really not going to see that to be a defining factor. Like it was last time, it's all about the IP, right? Now, I was really disappointed to see that we didn't see any IP whatsoever on that. We'll get to that after, actually.
But I think there's a discussion to be had about the nature of this event, firstly, right? Which is, I really don't think this event should have happened in this way.
100%.
Because you have, at the moment, Xbox with a very strong PR presence, right? As in, the Xbox is looking fantastic from a specs perspective, from a sort of consumer-centric perspective.
Also from
its whole PC, everything's available on PC. Xbox Game Pass being incredible value, Project xCloud being very convenient and very consumer-friendly in its business model. All of this stuff makes the Xbox look really good. I think you needed a pretty big kind of reveal for the PlayStation at this point, and this event was so not it.
I think the big thing with Xbox has been there's been a huge consumer transparency. They're just trying to give us stuff a lot all the time with Xbox, right? And I feel like they've pretty much now dropped all their cards. I don't feel like there's anything else they're waiting to tell us, Maybe there's one or two things, but really I feel like they've been very much on the front foot of this, right? And to bring out a dude that sounds like an evil genius and he just sits there and is like, "Hello everyone, I'm going to tell you how I'm going to ruin the world." I think that this was literally a copy and pasted presentation that was going to be shown at the GDC, and this would have resonated really well with developers, right? But when you put this particular type of presentation, which is very tech heavy, which is not visual at all, and then you try and give it to a normal audience where most people are the casual type audience that just want to see the games, see the form factor, I mean, it's not going to resonate very well with a lot of people that tune in, and a lot of people are going to be disappointed with that. The way Xbox really showed the form factor and showed the game actually running on that Hellblade was just the way to do it. You know?
Well, even then, the Hellblade footage, I mean, you can't really trust that. It was probably quite touched up, and we didn't really get a clear view of what gameplay was, but, like, you know, it was something at least. It was more than we've got from PlayStation here. Look, I do think there are some big takeaways from this presentation that are important to understand about the PS5 hardware, okay? So, first of all, when it comes to things like, you know, CPU and GPU, right? There's been a lot of discussion back and forth about, is this stuff more or less powerful than the Xbox Series X? And I think the broad takeaway is that, generally speaking, it's less powerful, but it's trying to be more agile. That's the focus that they've got. You know, maybe PlayStation will have more flexibility, and you won't really feel the difference of that performance, right? So that's when it comes to GPU and CPU, right? There are other things that are more important than in this presentation, I think, particularly the SSD. And that's something that everyone's like, oh, what does it matter? It's a hard drive. You just store shit on it, whatever else. No, that's not true. Where that hard drive... Oh, hang on. I've got my gulag.
Oh, I'm watching. Yeah,
this is it, baby.
Oh, you're dead.
Oh, I got tapped then.
You've got no health.
Dead.
Look at your health. Yeah, you did.
Oh, shit. I didn't even know they have grenades in this mode.
Behind you.
Where the fuck is he, Sam? Why don't you tell me?
Shit, we need the new audio thing that...
yeah, we need 3D positional audio.
We need Project Tempest.
I can't even see him.
That's what we need. Overtime.
Did I just lose?
I think they just kicked you out because you took too long. That's all right.
Oh my god. So yeah, look, the SSD is a very big deal because basically SSD determines how quickly an area can load. So essentially, if you imagine you're moving through the streets of Spider-Man as you're swinging through it, the speed at which Spider-Man can move is all determined by how fast information can be streamed off the hard drive. And The Division is a really good example of this as well, where a lot of its game design was limited by the fact that you had streaming limitations. So people always complained it felt really slow to move to The Division. We should be able to ride bikes and horses and all this sort of shit. And the reason they could never implement that is because the hard drive was too slow to be able to stream all that data to get the levels like there, you know? And they have made very clear that this SSD is a hell of a lot faster than what you can expect in the Xbox Series X. It's definitely standing out to be a sort of key differentiator between the two consoles, and it's obviously going to mean faster load times, sure, but it also could have an impact on actual game design depending on how developers choose to use it.
I think that's going to be the big thing. I mean, it's great to see that instead of sitting there for 3 minutes waiting for Anthem to boot up, we can actually start playing a game, you know, in 1 second, or if not, you know, no seconds. You know, like if it's like immediate, right?
Well, one of the things that Kearney said was that you might have to look at when during fast travel. You know, right now we have you have to distract the player. With Spider-Man, for example, he was on the subway while he was doing the fast travel, but you kind of you had to distract the player while the loading happens. But now it's like it's going to be so fast that you probably have to sort
slow
of
it
put
down.
something in there, slow it down, because otherwise it'll be too jarring for the player. So it's the opposite effect.
Yeah, it will be very geographically jarring if I feel like in less than a second I've moved, you know, 500 kilometers if it's a gigantic map, right? But I think the biggest thing here is it's going to be creatively. For them to be able to implement creative ideas that they weren't able to do, like if you're playing a Star Wars game and you can literally now, you know, kick into hyperspace and see all the planets behind, you know, all that kind of stuff, right? That would be really interesting to see. So creatively, I think that's going to be cool. And that's probably the most tangible thing that we will actually see, that we can go, oh, okay, cool, I can feel this difference.
There were other differences, though, particularly they made a big deal about 3D audio. And again, this is a sort of hardware-based solution giving developers a lot more capability to do far more immersive 3D audio than we've ever seen before. How that actually works and how it plays out is a mystery, because no one's experienced it yet. So yeah, we can say, oh, it's a complete game changer, whatever else, but it could be just marketing nuff jargon bullshit, and it doesn't really make a difference. Having said that, though, good 3D audio is absolutely a thing. Like, you play games to get this right, and it's like, it's a total thing, you know? So one thing we forgot to mention about the hard drive, by the way, we died, so we're just starting a new game.
Yeah, we died.
Is that the Xbox Series X has already said it's going to have proprietary SSD expansions, okay? So you need to buy an official, like, Xbox expansion card that slots into your Xbox to expand the storage capacity. PlayStation 5 is taking it a different direction. You're going to be able to use any NVMe sort of PCIe accessible SSD. Okay.
Love that jargon. I totally get it. Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
And that's cool. Great. However, the point is that there are no NVMe cards on the market or SSDs on the market today that match what the PlayStation 5 is going to do.
Okay,
so you're going to have to wait until they release those onto the consumer market.
Yep.
And you need to obviously make sure that they are Sony certified, because otherwise you're essentially wasting your money buying a really inferior SSD for your PlayStation 5.
So ultimately, they're going to give you the option to use other SSDs if you wish, but you're really not going to be able to get the power out of that until the newer, awesome models come out. But the previous ones, SSDs, are useful for PS4 games and PS3 games and stuff like that, if you want to actually use those to put your games on there. So there is value at the moment to have options out there, but Xbox has not even gone down that route. They're just like, nah, you've got to use ours. But they're obviously wanting, I think that's a quality control thing. They want to make sure that everyone has the same experience on Xbox.
Exactly right. Yeah, which totally makes sense, and good on them.
Yeah, and I just think to finish this up, I mean, I think it's a real shame to see how they've, not shame, but I think I would have liked to see them handle this a lot differently. Now a lot of people are waiting to see what this is. They are, in my opinion, they're kind of behind the eight ball now. They really are. I mean, we're getting on now. Xbox has completely revealed all their cards, and it's looking fantastic. Xbox is in probably the best position it's been for a number of years, right? Since 360
definitely.
days. 360, of course, they won that kind of console war, at least a big part of it. So I just hope that we do get to see this more, and to see some actual gameplay, show us a form factor. That needs to happen, I reckon, in the next 8 weeks. We can't wait longer than that, because it's getting too close to holiday season.
Yeah, I mean, there would have been a way to show off these capabilities with, like, hey, we've got some influencers here, we've got Digital Foundry, we've got these audio experts, and we're showing them this 3D positional technology for the first time. Let's see their reactions. You could have done that. You could have obviously shown some of the load time differentials to really to get people seeing this stuff and really talking about this. You could have shown some gameplay to show what the hardware is capable of. Right now, everyone's just talking about specs they don't quite understand, and the fact that the Xbox kind of looks stronger, and that's, I think, a real loss for PlayStation. It shows a bit of a misjudgment with how they handle this event. So.
100%.
Yeah,
all right, guys,
anyway, that's the news.
We love you, appreciate you, and we're going to fall to our deaths, and I'm literally not going to deploy my parachute, and this is the way we're going to end.
It automatically deploys.
Oh, does it? Oh,
but you can then cut it as soon as it does, and then see if you can kill yourself.
Oh, it does, yeah. Oh, it doesn't let me kill myself. That's annoying.
Oh, damn it. Bonus damage. Anyway, guys, that's the show.
That's
we'll
it, guys.
see you tomorrow.
So
oh, no, we'll see you next week, actually.
Next week
for some
on
Doom
Tuesday.
Eternal. Sam is away for the next few days, so we're going to take a few days off, and then we'll be back. So look forward to some Doom Eternal impressions from me, and also Sam can't play Doom Eternal.
Oh, but I'm actually going to buy Animal Crossing. I am going to buy that. So why don't we do
a
little bit of
Animal Crossing impressions. That's good.
Yeah. Are you going to play Animal Crossing?
I'm playing Doom, man. Fuck you.
Okay, well, fuck you then, too. All right, guys. Goodbye. Laymen out.
Bye.